So I was wrong about Waves plugins, sorta. If you didn't see, I made a video showing how some of the Waves plugins have analog buttons, and I was saying how they don't do anything, and I did a null test. I'll link it down below, you could check it out. But as some people pointed out, I was actually wrong in that video, and I want to just clarify that and, set it straight. So let's go. So in that video, I used the analog button, did a null test versus it on and off. Once again, check out the video if you want to see that. And I was like, look, it does null, there's no sound. But it turns out there actually is some sound that comes from that button. It's just below the threshold that's detected by the logic metering. Logic is the DAW that I used, if you have one instance. So while yes, technically it doesn't null, meaning that it does add sound. So I was technically wrong there, absolutely. I discovered that now. There's also the belief system where a null test is if it's below a certain threshold, even if it's making noise, you would still say it nulled because it's not like a significant sound. So I was technically wrong, but some people use the word null differently. And I meant technically, so yeah, I was wrong. It does technically add noise. It's just very, very, below a threshold where you would really notice it. And like I said, it's not even picked up by the logic metering. But what I did was I stacked a bunch of instances. I did like 14 instances with the analog on and then nulled that. And there's definitely some noise that you could hear. So what's the takeaway from this video? One, I was wrong, and that's okay because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I'm willing to admit when I was wrong. I come from like a science background. So this is what it's all about. One person does one thing, finds a discovery, whatever, someone else comes back with better information, and then we as a community grow, and now we all know better, right? That's how these things work. So, and I also wanted to, clarify because I don't want to be spreading misinformation or have anything wrong on this channel. So I needed to clear that up. But like I said, it is a very low sound. So depending on if you take null tests like literally, or if it's below like 80 dBs, whatever, some people consider that to still null. It's essentially the same. Either way, it does have a noise that it makes, but it's very, very low. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk practically about this. Practically speaking, if you have one instance with the analog on versus analog off, you probably won't hear the difference, especially if there's audio playing. It's a very low noise that you probably wouldn't hear. It does make noise, so maybe you will. That's cool too. But, practically speaking, one instance of this plugin, whether the analog is on or off, is probably not going to make a difference that anyone can notice, or especially not the average listener. But where this does become useful, or the opposite of useful if you don't intend it, is if you have multiple instances of a plugin or these Waves plugins. If you have multiple instances throughout the session, all with this noise on, then it's definitely going to be at a level where it's going to make a difference in your mix. And that's where this matters. Whether you want to use it or not, that's, a totally another discussion. But you should just be aware that if you have many or multiple of these Waves plugins throughout your project, all with the noise on, it is additive and it will start to make a difference. So that's like the main takeaway from this video. It really won't matter too much if you have one of these plugins, whether it's on or off. But if you have multiple plugins all with it on, then it'll definitely make a difference. So that's the main takeaway from this video. But I just wanted to hop on here and clarify that. Like I said, I'll link the original video down below in the description. I think it's still useful. But anyways, guys, I'm Inswain with Inswain Audio. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace.